Welcome back once again to our course, Readings in Philippine History. And we are still in our chapter 2, which is all about the content and contextual analysis of selected primary sources in Philippine history. And now let's proceed with our discussion this day. No, we'll be tackling about the analysis of the Kartilya ng Katipunan. Let's try to analyze kung sa yun nahitabo aning analysis o aning Kartilya ng Katipunan to no sa ato ang previous discussion. So similar to what we have done to the accounts of Pigafetta, uh, we all know naman nga this Kartilya ng Katipunan or KKK is the primary source ni siya. And also, need po nato ni siya nga ato siyang i-analyze in terms sa iyahang content o sa iyahang context. So, here is a document written for a fraternity whose main purpose is to overthrow a colonial regime. We can explain the content and provisions of the Cartilia as a reaction and response to certain value systems that they found despicable in the present state of things that they struggled against with. So the Cartilia, crafted for a fraternity aiming to overthrow a colonial regime, it outlines its principle in response to objectionable values within the existing system they resist. For example, the fourth and 13th rules in Cartilia are an invocation of the inherent equality between and among men, regardless of race, occupation, or status. Di ba? Narito sa Cartilia number 14 and 4th and 13 it emphasizes the equality regardless of your sex, of your race, occupations, and even your status. Moreover, one can analyze the values upheld in the document as consistent with the burgeoning rational and liberal ideas in the 18th and 19th century. Because in the 18th century French Revolution, equality, tolerance, freedom, and liberty were values that first emerged in that century, which was the 18th century French Revolution. And Jacinto and Ilustrado himself certainly got an understanding of these values. So, for example, various provisions in the Cartilia repeatedly emphasize the importance of honor in words and actions. So, the teaching of the Katipunan on how women should be treated with honor and respect, while positive in many respects and certainly a significant stride from the practice of raping and physically abusing women and still be telling of the Katipunan's secondary regard for women in relation to men. So, for example, in the 10th rule, di ba? On the 10th rule, it talks about on the thorny path of life. Money is the guide of a woman and a child, women and the children. And if the guide leads to precipice, those whom he guides also go there. So kung ang leader doing evil, of course, ang iyang follower will do so. Nevertheless, the same document stated that women should be treated as companions by men and not as playthings that can exploited for the pleasure. So dili lang kay nga at dili lang kay daw nga dili jud daw dapat ang mga women atong i-considered as a plaything or pampalipas oras lang, di ba? Or for pleasure lang pero di jud daw siya inaana, no? In the contemporary eyes, in the contemporary eyes, the Katipunan can be criticized because these provisions, however, one must not forget the context where the organization was born. Because if we see in our contemporary eyes, some of the provision of Cartilia ay salugat sa ato ang mga value system karon. And if we know the context of this, then we will understand the purpose of this Cartilia. The same. And not even in Europe or in the whole of the West and that juncture recognize the problem of gender inequality. Kay sa una, wala na sila ang mga gender inequality kay murag given na ni sa una na ang mga lalaki ang mugay sa family and everything. So, marag never sila naka-experience of gender inequality kay mo lagi ito given na sa ilaha nga ang lalaki jud ang mugay sa family and everything. And indeed, it can be argued that Katipunan's recognition of women as important partners in the struggle, as reflected not just in Kartilya but also in the organizational structure of the fraternity, where a women's unit was established, is an endeavor advance for its time. So this is to uh, recognize women as part of the organization because the women in the unit acted as a nurse, acted po sila as spy or unsa ba. And this is advantage for a women sa una kay they will use their natural beauty to distract the Spaniards kung na sila pangitaon ng mga lalaki. They will use their charm, they will use their natural beauty to distract the Spaniards. Next, aside from results known letter to the women of Malolos, no same effort by the supposed cosmopolitan propaganda movement was achieved until the movement's eventual disintegration in the latter part of the 1890s. So we can see that the Katipunan, they are fighting for the total independence of the Philippines and propaganda movement. Founded by again ha, ang katong Katipunan, they are fighting for the total independence of the Philippines. And ang propaganda movement, founded by the Pilar Jaina Rizal, they are fighting for equality in the Spanish Cortes. But the Katipunan recognized the importance of the women. So, aside, ano to siya? Ano ba to? Mhm. Okay. Aside from this, the Kartilya was instructive not just of the Katipunan's conduct toward other people, but also for the members' development and individuals in their own rights. Di ba, ang Kartilya was divided into two groups of rule. Ang first group, katong 1 to 7, talk about the character development to be upright individual. And second is ang imuhang conduct towards other people. So generally speaking, the rules in the Kartilya can be classified as either directed to how one should treat his neighbor or how one should develop and conduct one's self. And both are essential to the success and fulfillment of the Katipunan's ideals. For example, no, the Kartilya's teaching on honoring one's word and on not wasting time are teachings directed towards self-development. While the rules on treating the neighbors, wife, children, and brothers the way that you want yours to be treated is an instruction on how Katipuneros should treat and regard their neighbors. So the best ang lesson na atong makita sa Kartilya kay it talks about the importance of time, respect, kindness, characters, and many more. And all in all, proper reading of Kartilya will reveal a more thorough understanding of the Katipunan and the significant role that it played in the revolution and in the unfolding of the Philippine history as we know it. You know what? If you wanted to become a Katipunero sa una, you need first to be a gentleman. Dapat gentleman jud ka. And you should embody to yourself the values of respect, truthfulness, having a purpose-driven life, being punctual and respect toward women and children. Therefore, ang mga Katipunero ay mga gentleman. Matapang pero magalang. Na sila yung mga paninindigan and anong na yung mga adhikain sa buhay. And mauna ang mga Katipunero sa una. And that's the end of our analysis of the Kartilya ng Katipunan. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you learned something with this discussion. Have a great day.